And we are underway then. Arsenal could go top of the table with a win. Aston Villa seeking their first 3 points. I'm delighted to say, alongside me, former Arsenal goalkeeper and current Lewis FC manager Emma Byrne.
Hello, good afternoon, Flo. I'm really looking forward to this game. I think it's going to be very interesting.
And Arsenal coming forward straight away with Katie McCabe. And wins an early corner for Arsenal.
Yeah, it's a good start. It's exactly what you'd want your team to do, is to press forward and put the opposition under pressure, and especially here at the Emirates. It's such a fortress for Arsenal. Very intimidating for any opposition coming here, and you know, they just play so well.
Caldente over to take then. And it comes to Russo, gets the touch on. Bit of a tame effort, and behind for an Aston Villa goal kick.
But you can see what Arsenal are trying to do there. They've worked on that. They're trying to expose Villa in that front post area. Difficult though for Russo coming onto that ball, landing on her left side. But Arsenal have certainly already showed their intentions. We're not even 2 minutes in.
Blackstenius back on the bench, Russo back in the number 9. Is that where you prefer to see her, Emma?
Yeah, absolutely. And she can play 10, and she's a good 10. She's very good at keeping the ball, but 9 is her position, and what she gives you in that, first of all, in the press, out of possession, she's amazing. She's very good at initiating that press, and that sets the tone for the rest of the team. She's so good with her back to goal, and she's so good. She's an all-round 9, to be quite honest.
Joint Golden Boot winner last season, Alessia Russo. As it's with Katie Reid, celebrated her 19th birthday the other day. In for Leah Williamson, who arrived at the stadium today still with her leg in a brace after that clean-up knee operation. But Katie Reid has been filling in brilliantly, and that's a lovely ball in the channel for Russo. Lays it back to McCabe. Arsenal keep it alive just about. And hooked away by Kearns.
Difficult for Villa playing in that back three. When to lock onto Russo when she goes wide, and you can see Katie McCabe playing a little bit higher up, just creating that overload with Mead. Aston Villa still looking for a way to solve that problem, but one of the centre halves has got to follow Alessia Russo when she makes those channel runs.
Kim Little wins it back in the middle for Arsenal. Joined the Gunners back in 2008. A long time ago. Were you still playing for them, Arsenal then, and Emma?
It's not really a long time for me, and that says everything. Yeah, she was only a kid when she joined, but maturity in the way she played, just an excellent player. And growing still.
And here goes Olivia Smith for Arsenal, looking to pick out Russo. Behind for another corner, and a glimpse of what Olivia Smith can offer in those wide areas.
Yeah, just another advantage for Arsenal, be able to play the ball into those areas, and she really stretches the game. Probably one of the best at the moment in women's football at running into those spaces. Anna Patton did well to cover off.
Signed for £1 million in the summer from Liverpool. Already scored for Arsenal here at the Emirates, an absolute screamer on her debut.
Nearly scored a screamer last week against United.
In from McCabe. Headed clearance only finds Caldente, who's dispossessed, and Salmon gets it away partially. Wonderful ball to Mornham. Her ball across. Punched out by D'Angelo. Early stages, Arsenal looking threatening. That's a nice ball in behind, and Frida Mornham couldn't quite reach it, didn't go for it in the end.
She looked really close to that. It was a lovely turn from Monum before that, really nice. And just here, great ball across. D'Angelo does really well to get anything on that, and then it falls to Kim Little, who very, very nearly picked Monum out again.
Maltby, teenage fullback making her first start in the WSL. Moritz picked up a red card against Tottenham midweek in the League Cup and is suspended from this one. And that's a really nice move from Villa, but look at the pace on Katie Reid to get back.
It's great pace from Reid, isn't it? And it's so difficult to find centre-halves that have absolutely everything, and she's definitely looking like one of those players, the centre-half. She's got pace, she's good on the ball, she's good at reading the game, she's good in the air. Absolute all-rounder as well.
Out to Dutch international Chastity Grant. Picks out Byings, who in turn can't quite pick out Maltby.
Yeah, Bynes just needed the width there, needed Maltby to stay wide, stay stretched. Maltby wanted to come in, understandably thinking she might get a little through ball, but Arsenal were too compact for that.
Aston Villa manager Natalia Arroyo lost her first 5 matches in charge when she was appointed last January, but since then has steadied the ship at Villa. Still looking for their first 3 points this campaign, though. Finished very strongly at the end of last season, including that 5-2 win against Arsenal.
Oh, I think that's definitely going to be motivation for these Arsenal players. That hurt a lot, considering they were in such a good run in the Champions League at that moment. I felt like it burst their bubble a bit, but then they went on to win it, so maybe it was a good thing.
Little shields it away from Rachel Daly, who is making her 100th WSL appearance today. She's scored 45 goals in 99 outings to date. Such a big player for Aston Villa. Also played a great role for England as well. They're often in a fullback position. Here comes Russo, the beautiful turn. Tries to pick out Beth Mead, she does. Mead onto her right foot. Has the chance gone? Yes, it has.
Just too many touches from Beth Mead.
Caldente with the effort, though. And behind for another Arsenal corner.
And that's where Russo's so dangerous, right? Especially if you're going to play a 3, you have to be very careful as a centre-half that Russo doesn't get across you and get into those areas, because you don't have fullbacks as your second defender. It's a great ball from Russo as well, and just a little bit too much from it, Mead. Maybe could have laid that off to Olivia Smith a little bit earlier. But good follow-up from Caldente.
A lot of competition in those wide areas for Arsenal. Caitlin Ford on the bench, Chloe Kelly on the bench. As the ball comes in from deep, headed back across goal. Can Mornham poke it in, and good save from Sabrina D'Angelo.
Again, another dangerous ball. Arsenal have done their homework. They have recognised front post and back post are areas to hit. Villa are going to have to be a little bit more careful in those situations.
That's poorly given away. Frida Mornham slides it in for Arsenal. Aston Villa punished for passing out from the back, and it's Arsenal 1, Aston Villa 0.
This is what Arsenal are so good at. They're so good at pressing. It's very, very difficult for Villa to get out here, but they proceed to play short balls. An absolute gift for Arsenal, which is something they didn't really need here. You can see it's the French player, Delon, just giving that ball away, and that Missy Bone-Kearns under pressure, can't handle it. And Arsenal say thank you very much.
The Arsenal
third goal this season for Frida Mornham. And probably the easiest one she's had to score.
I was just going to say, Flo, probably the easiest one.
And Natalia Arroyo, the Aston Villa manager, will be fuming with that. They kept a clean sheet on match day 1 against Brighton, kept a clean sheet midweek, but that was really poor defensively.
I'm just not sure what Missy Bocairns intended to do there. She was under pressure on her right-hand side. She had Frida Mornham on her right-hand side as well. The only thing she should have done is a bounce pass back to D'Angelo. But it's easy for me to say. Really difficult job now for Villa here on this pitch against a team who are very much in form.
Rachel Daly wins the free kick. That's the 10th goal Arsenal have scored already this season in the WSL. And that's overhit from Anna Patton. And Renee Slager's Arsenal manager will be pleased for her side to score early, especially after they're frustrated last time out at Leigh Sports Village against Manchester United.
Yeah, absolutely. And also the way Villa play. We've seen Villa play against Chelsea, and I thought they were very, very impressive. I was looking forward to seeing them play and progress. That back three, it's difficult, though, if you can expose down the channels, and I don't think Chelsea did that very well, even though Chelsea won, and it looks like they won quite convincingly. But actually, I thought Villa were in the game for a very long period of time.
Referee Lisa Benn content with the physical challenge, but Kim Little still able to hold on to the ball. It's back with Daphne van Domselaar. Had a spell at Aston Villa before signing for Arsenal. Arsenal looking very comfortable now, 1 goal up and plenty of possession.
We can see Villa pressing a little bit higher than what Manchester United did last week and trying to get pressure on the ball, but Arsenal are so good. Villa have to be very careful that they're just not easily beaten.
They are a team that likes to play on the counter under Natalia Arroyo.
Yeah, and they're very good at it. They've got very, very quick, powerful players in Chastity Grant, Rachel Daly, Ebony Salmon. They seem to be a little bit higher here. I think they want to bring the game to Arsenal a little bit, which can be very dangerous coming here with that mindset at the Emirates.
Another ball from Patton, not quite right, and it's an Arsenal throw-in. Second time she's tried to pick out a player in a wide position, and it's not quite gone to plan.
Yeah, and Anna Patton that's what she does really well, finding players. Just needs to warm up a bit. I'm just looking at that goal again. Absolutely gifted to Frida Mornham. Nothing D'Angelo could have done about that.
Daly turns the ball to Salmon, and that's surely a free kick Aston Villa's way. Emily Fox just completely taking out Salmon.
I would have said a free kick and a card, to be quite honest, because that is where Salmon is dangerous. Aston Villa players didn't seem too disgruntled about it, but if that were me back in the day, I would have been around the referee. But it was an accident. Nothing on purpose, but it's still a card for me.
And a good position for a free kick.
I do think Emily Fox has been outstanding for Arsenal already this season. You know, we speak about Arsenal and where are their weaknesses, and it's becoming evident that there aren't that many, but it is catching them on the counter, it is catching them in transitions. But I think Emily Fox has fixed a lot of those problems with her pace and her strength in 1v1 defending.
Physio's just checking. Salmon's going to be okay to continue. She was caught in the face. And here's a yellow card, in fact, for Emily Fox.
Yeah, as I said, I don't think it was anything on purpose or malicious. She was going for the ball, but Salmon just got that touch on it. But it certainly was a coming together.
Villa's only goal scorer so far in this campaign of the Women's Super League, Emily Salmon, scored a brilliant goal against Chelsea in their 3-1 loss last time out.
Yeah, again, and counter-attack style down that right-hand side is certainly where they like to get out from, with Chastity Grant on that right side, and a lovely cutback for Salmon, who took the ball really, really well.
Look at the stats then. 1 shot on target for Arsenal and 1 goal, and their leading possession stats as well, key passes. Villa yet to get going.
I think that's fair to say. But, you know, these teams that come and play here at the Emirates, they really have to take advantage of when they do have these situations and when they're on the ball and keeping the ball. And, well, we've seen it already. They've just given the ball away a little bit.
Byings and Wilms both vying to take this free kick. And it's left for Wilms, who goes for goal, and it's behind for a goal kick. Did Daphne van Domselaar get a touch there?
Well, I think she did. She certainly thought she did, because she was getting back in to defend a corner. I think the referee's changed her mind. Yeah, it's definitely a corner. It's a good save.
So Arsenal defend their first corner then. And it comes near post and doesn't get past the watchful eye of Frida Mornham.
Again, just disappointing. Spoke about moments in the game to take advantage of, and it is going to be set pieces for Aston Villa. You're playing against a team that are heavily zonal. You have to get it past that front post player.
Throw-in goes the way of Villa, much to the annoyance of the Arsenal fans here. Breaks to Kendall. And Wilms from range. And gets it all wrong, Arsenal goal kick.
She certainly caught it, Wilms. Some power behind that. Those are difficult for the goalkeepers, because they tend to move a little bit more from that far out. But yeah, she was way off. Nothing to worry Van Domselaar about.
Arsenal have won 7 of 10 WSL meetings against Aston Villa, but have lost 2 of the last 5. In this fixture last season, though, they beat Aston Villa rather comprehensively, 4-0 on the day.
Aston Villa are a little bit inconsistent like that. You can watch them and think they've really, really come on, and they're really gelling together as a team and playing really lovely football, but they do leave themselves exposed in the back line a little bit. But we've seen Arsenal do that to so many teams here as well. They are not alone.
Fox feeds Mornham. Russo's waiting in the middle and cut out just in time by Anna Patton.
It's just how quick Arsenal turn it round, and, you know, out of possession with that counter press, just winning it back and then being able to press forward. But again, it was good defending from Patton in the right place.
Caldente can't pick out a teammate, and it's a very different scenario to last time out for Arsenal against Manchester United, who almost sat in a bit of a deep block. There's a lot of space behind those Aston Villa defenders, and it's a big pitch here at the Emirates.
It's a very big pitch, and you know, I don't think there's anything wrong with playing like that against Arsenal, being quite honest, because it does work. It frustrates them. I thought United did it very well. I thought fullbacks had really good games for United, but you have to be very quick in transition, like counter-attack. When you win it back, can you get the ball up to your fast players quickly and not give Arsenal a chance to settle? And I think that's what United didn't do, unfortunately, for them.
Emily Fox winning the ball fairly on that occasion. Flag up against Salmon anyway. Free kick Arsenal.
Kim Little is having a really, really good season also, and we're just wondering, when is she going to slow down? Because she's not a teenager anymore, but she's just absolutely flying in that midfield, and even more motivated, it looks like. Particularly in United's game, I thought she was all over the pitch. She covered so much of the pitch and tackling hard in that midfield.
One back by Olivia Smith. Finds Fox. Canadian goes back to captain Kim Little. Arsenal moving the ball around nicely. Goal scorer Mornham. And this is really slick from Arsenal. Rousseau. Beautiful play. Fox back to Rousseau, who does manage to get the shot off in the end. And I'm not sure that Fox realised how much space she had in the box there.
No, it's really good play, though, from Arsenal. And it's really interesting to see. In every game, they change something slightly. You can see the two fullbacks. That was from Fox to Katie McCabe, who are actually their fullbacks, just completely overloading that midfield. And Aston Villa really struggling in there. And sometimes we see Fox underlap, and particularly when Chloe Kelly's on the pitch, you'll see Fox going inside and creating overloads. And in this game, we can see Katie McCabe going right up and nearly playing as a back three also. Very difficult to organise and to try and stop them. You can see the numbers in there, just pinning players and creating that much space, but it's lovely play.
Patton. Chastity Grant now into Daly, lays it off to Vilms. Back with Oceane Delon, signed in the summer, French fullback. They had a pretty poor start to last campaign, Aston Villa. Didn't record a win until match day 8, and they've failed to win in their opening 3 games the last couple of seasons. Arsenal's turn to play it around from the back, and Reid gives it away. Kendall into Salmon. A lot of red shirts back, though. Just to poke it through to Maltby. Salmon again. Into Kendall. And it's good defensive work right there from Beth Mead.
Yeah, you don't have that much time. You need to move that ball. There's no space in there for Kendall to have a shot. It's interesting from Natalia Arroyo to start both Maltby and Lucia Kendall who I rate really highly, particularly Kendall, I know from Southampton. Excellent player, really, really good young talent. I would know her more in the 10 position rather than holding midfield. It's interesting to see her there.
Caldente pokes it back to Reed. Had such an impactful first season for Arsenal, Mariona Caldente. A few eyebrows raised that she didn't win the Ballon d'Or. As Grant comes forward for Villa. Daly in the box. Said tries to pick out Byings and Kim Little comes away with it.
Those are the moments. Chastity Grant has got to find a Villa shirt in there. You know, it's difficult. She's gonna struggle this game because, you know, what she's good at, getting on the ball and getting forward and playing higher, she can't do that in this formation. She has to make sure that she is covering Beth Mead and, more importantly, Katie McCabe when she goes higher. So she's going to have a difficult game.
And here is Katie McCabe driving forward into Rousseau. Villa have it back with Kearns, who slides it into Rachel Daly. 2-on-2 here at the moment. Tries to pick out Salmon. And really intelligent defending that from Katie Reid, just to shield it back to her goalkeeper.
Excellent defending. And I think really good understanding from Katie Reid and from Van Domselaar. Van Domselaar knows that Katie Reid's going to get there. She knows she's just going to shield Salmon off the ball.
There were a few people that were surprised when Katie Reid started the first game of the season ahead of Laia Codina and Lotte Wubben-Moy, more experienced players, with Leah Williamson out, but she's proven so far that she's deserving of that centre-half spot, Emma.
100%. And I was one of those people that questioned it, because you've got Laia Codina, who's an excellent defender, coming from Barca, proven to play at top level, played for Spain in the World Cup winner. And then, of course, Wubben-Moy, who everybody knows is a very, very competent defender. So, you know, that's difficult also for a young player mentally to come into a team knowing that you're getting picked over these players, and I'm sure they're very professional. But I do wonder what's next for Wubben-Moy and Laia Codina on the bench.
Only one start last season in the WSL. Katie Reid, that was actually against Aston Villa in that 5-2 loss, but 4 starts from 4 so far. One back again by Steph Catley.
Just look how quickly the Arsenal players get round that when Villa do win the ball.
Maltby. Looking for the forward run of Rachel Daly, puts a thumbs up. Daly playing a little bit more advanced than she has done in the first 2 games of the season, as Missy Bo Kearns can't quite slide it into the number 9.
Yeah, I like to see Rachel Daly play a little bit higher. I mean, she is a 9 and has started to drop last couple of years, just drop into the 10, and in fact probably helping midfield out more than the attack. But I mean, she can do that job as well. But I think in this case, I think what's Natalia Arroyo's idea is Chastity Grant will have to be deeper, and it just allows either Salmon or Daly to drift out into that area when Chastity can't get up and support.
Good strength from Byings. Into Daly. Lays it off to Kendall. Space out on that right, and the players are screaming for it. Wilms. Another summer signing. Experienced defender brought in from Wolfsburg. Driving forward now. Finds Byings. And the ball looking for Grant is headed out by McCabe and collected by Van Domselaar.
You know, Arsenal are waiting for that. They know that's what Villa want to do. They want to hit in behind. It's difficult for Villa to find those players because Arsenal's backline, as soon as the opposition's head goes down, they're just dropping off. And you can see Byings in there. She's pointing to the left centre back. That's the one that's free on the build.
And off Arsenal go with Alessia Russo. Tries to cut it back, looking for Mead, and Wilms clears the danger just in time. We spoke about Aston Villa and how good they are on the counter, but Arsenal actually looking pretty good in transitions themselves.
They're so good. And you know, when you've got a player like Russo, who will stretch the pitch and such good timings of the runs, very rarely gets caught offside, who'll do that diligent work. You can see the Villa players just asking for a bit of calmness. They need to get their breath, and this is the time to do it when you're in possession.
How frustrating is that as a manager and as a goalkeeper as well, when your team tries to play out from the back and gives the opposition a goal?
Extremely frustrating. It's something that, you know, it's, as a goalkeeper, you can see it happening and you can nearly predict it in some cases. And the manager wants you to play out. It's what you have to do, but you also have to be the one to orchestrate what happens there, because ultimately it's you that has to try and save it. So there was a few hairdryer instances with my defenders, I have to say.
That's the voice of former Arsenal goalkeeper and current Lewis FC manager, Emma Byrne. Arsenal leading by a goal to nil. Olivia Smith now in space. Got an option in the middle, still going. Smith gets it across and can only find a black shirt. Arsenal look a threat every time they get in behind, though. Fox now. Her ball across. This time cleared at the back post.
So difficult when you're trying to defend against players like Olivia Smith, who I think Delon did really well in 1v1 situation. I thought she did really, really good here defensively. But then it just comes back out to somebody like Emily Fox, who's the next wave of attack.
It's with the USA international. 67 caps she has for the national side. That is some feat considering the amount of quality the US has on its roster. Smith. Kim Little in space. Such deft control of the football. Arsenal enjoying themselves out there. Caldente gifts it back to Daly. Caldente again into the goal scorer Mornham, and Smith now.
Oh, I think Arsenal are leaving the right-hand channel free to allow Smith to take on the Aston Villa defender, but she's not doing that at the moment. I do think Arsenal need to make those runs in there to try and exploit that space a little bit.
Catley into Russo, finds McCabe. Last season, Arsenal didn't lose a game when scoring first in the Women's Super League, leading here by that early Frida Mornham goal. Here's McCabe. Fires it across that 6-yard box and behind for a corner.
You can see she's a bit frustrated, but it's a great cutout from Anna Patton again in the right area. And she has her eye on Russo. That is the area, the danger area.
Operating at left back for much of this season, but such a good attacking fullback, Katie McCabe, as Caldente plays the ball in, headed up by Smith. Still it's with the Canadian. And she wins the free kick, and it's just as Villa try and break.
Referee had to think about that one. Just can't get the ball off Arsenal in general. I mean, it is what they're good at. They do enjoy this kind of possession. But I have to say, even though the stats last week showed there wasn't much of a difference between Arsenal and United, it did seem like they had a very similar count of possession here. They were enjoying possession, and Villa just have to make sure they keep their heads. Still only 1-0. If they can keep it at this scoreline, half-time, it just gives them a chance.
10 minutes to go till the break. In from McCabe, Mead at the back post, slips it across, and Mornham can't quite find the finish from about a yard out.
Well, I'm not sure what happened here, because I was waiting for a whistle, because I stopped and so did the Villa backline. Nobody moved. It's Rachel Daly just closed off. I'm not sure she even sees Beth Mead back there. It's way too easy. I'm not sure how Mona missed that either.
Arsenal miss out on the opportunity to extend their lead. But the Gunners are very much in control. Good strength from Caldente. Playing in a bit of a deeper position than she used to at Barcelona, alongside Kim Little in the midfield rather than out wide.
Yeah, you know, Caldente is such a good player.
And that's brilliant from Russo, nearly picking out Beth Mead. Good defence, though, from Wilms, and it's about 3 or 4 times now Patton, Wilms and Delon have managed to just cut the ball out before it reached an Arsenal attacker in and around the penalty area.
Yeah, they've had a bit to do, haven't they? I think Wilms has had a really good game so far. I think as a new player coming into this league, it's always difficult. And you spoke about Mariona Caldente, a player that came into the league from the La Liga FA, which I always find interesting because it's nowhere near as physical, and it's not the same level. I do think the WSL is on a different level, and she's just slotted right in there, hasn't she? But as a 6, I'm still waiting for her to play a little bit higher, wide on the left.
So many wide options for Arsenal, though. Here's one of them, Olivia Smith. Back with Katie Reid, who celebrated her 19th birthday the other day. She's not had too much to do in this first half. One opportunity having to shield the ball back to Van Domselaar, but Aston Villa with just one shot on target as things stand. Natalia Arroyo disappointed that the throw didn't go the way of her team. And that's really good strength from both players, but Mornham has won it. Smith finds Fox. 3 red shirts in the box. Catley out to Mead. Kim Little now. Accelerates away from Cairns, and effort blocked by Patton. Another crucial block from Anna Patton.
Yeah, and it's a great run from Kim Little as well. And the thing about Arsenal is they can attack from every single area. It's really difficult for any team playing against them, because normally you can spot where they're going to, you know, use their strengths, and it could be right side, left side or centre. But against the top teams, it comes from everywhere. And you can see Steph Catley up there joining in the attack. Kim Little does really well to drive in there.
Caldente. It's well won back by Villa. Grant. Rachel Daly in the box to aim for. Cuts it back to Salmon. Taken well by Salmon and fired directly at Katie McCabe. There was a bit of a half-hearted appeal for a penalty. Katie McCabe looked a little bashful.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Katie would be able to react to that quick enough for it to be a handball anyway. But again, it's those moments, isn't it? Ebony Salmon in the box. No, I don't think you can call that a handball. Ebony Salmon in the box, that's a moment. As soon as you get in there, can you create something? It's very difficult to defend against a player like Salmon, who's strong and powerful in that area. I'd consider that a wasted opportunity.
Seconds ticking away till the break. Daly back to Byings. Delon finds her goalkeeper. Won back really well by Steph Catley. Beth Mead had spotted the run of Olivia Smith, who temporarily keeps the ball in play. Was Liverpool's top goal scorer last season. And they're struggling without her to find goals.
I was just about to say irreplaceable, because that is one area that Liverpool have a problem with.
Salmon muscled off the ball from Beth Mead, and Chastity Grant had a bit of space out on that right-hand side.
Absolutely, she did, and if that ball could have been moved a little bit quicker, there could have been a few problems there for Arsenal. But I do think Ebony Salmon has been caught out now 3 or 4 times on the ball, or just making poor decisions, and I think that's something Natalia Arroyo will be having a word about at half-time.
Patton finds Salmon on the halfway line. That's a good-looking ball for Grant. Rachel Daly in the penalty area. Flag is up.
Frustrating, because I actually think Villa did really well to work that out. And you can see that when D'Angelo's on the ball, she's getting... it's going to take a central player from Arsenal to go and close her down, which means Lucia Kendall is free in there. If they can get her on the ball and build out through her, they could get more of these opportunities.
Aston Villa throw-in. Up to Salmon, helps it onto Byings. Grant in acres of space out on the right. Katie McCabe for company. Chastity Grant lent back and fires it over.
Again, it's a good opportunity, and it's very similar to the situation we've just spoken about. And this time, Ebony Salmon does really well to keep it. They just spread it out to that area, into that weak side. You can see Grant looking up, trying to find a player. Nobody in there. Probably 1 or 2 options, have a shot or take Kate McCabe on, and she chose the first one. You can see Arsenal, though, they're on it. They're giving out. They're having a go at each other for not closing that down, for allowing Salmon to get on that ball and to switch it out.
Arsenal in control, but 1-0, a slender lead. Renee Slagers will be wanting more from her side in the second half to see the game off.
Yeah, I think they should be, shouldn't they? They should be at least 2-0 up. That chance, the free kick back post all the way across. I think Villa are very, very lucky not to concede there.
Caldente. Beth Mead. Into the goal scorer, Mornham. 3 minutes of stoppage time at the end of the first 45. Little can't quite find Mornham, and Missy Bocans wins the goal kick for her side.
Aston Villa definitely looking for this half-time whistle. They look second to everything now, just a little bit delayed in the reactions. Need to regroup.
Chastity Grant, who has found herself in space quite a few times in this first half. As Arsenal come again, though. Mead fouled by Grant, and that a little bit hapless from Grant, and has gifted Arsenal an opportunity to swing this in the 18-yard box.
Frustration from Grant. She'd just given the ball away. Silly, though, because in these areas, I mean, Arsenal have just proved that they're very, very dangerous there. And it's these moments, isn't it? The 45-minute plus mark. You just do not want to concede. Well, you don't ever want to concede, but these moments are very, very important.
And it comes from Caldente. Katie Reid is there. Mead keeps it alive. Mornham can't get it out from under her feet, and it's fired away. And can Villa catch them on the counter? No, they can't. There's Emily Fox. Beth Mead now puts the ball back in the mixer. Can Russo keep it alive? No, she can't.
Aston Villa definitely need to sort out how they're setting up for defensive set pieces. In the free kicks, it's a zonal drop. The thing about a zonal drop is always behind the back post, and they're just not dealing with that very well. And Arsenal are exploiting it.
Russo. Back to Little. Cut out by Kearns. Slides it up to Salmon. Brilliantly won back by Kim Little.
Brilliantly kept as well.
Bit of a sloppy pass there from Katie McKay, but nearly at the break. And there is the break then. Arsenal lead by a goal to 0. Alessia Russo to get us back underway then. And here we go, Arsenal leading by a goal to 0. Half-time change for the Villains. Rachel Daly has come off to be replaced by Kirsty Hansen. And early bit of concern here is Olivia Smith down after that early challenge.
Can't help but think there's a problem with Rachel Daly. She's not the player you'd take off in this game. Big leader on the pitch, so must be something to do with injury. But I'm also happy to see Kirsty Hansen get on the pitch, and we were about talking, weren't we, Flo, before the game, that we rate her, we like her. Not sure why she wouldn't start, but it's good to see her there.
A question for Natalia Arroyo after the game then, why Rachel Daly is off. Has she picked up a little injury, or did the manager just want to change shape or formation? We'll keep an eye on that. There is Kirsty Hansen then, former Manchester United winger. She actually scored last time these sides met, but quite a few Villa players did, because they won by 5 goals to 2. Olivia Smith looks like she's okay to continue. Plenty of depth, though, in that area for Arsenal, should they require it. Renee Slagers has Chloe Kelly, Caitlin Ford. Both can play there, both on the bench. Delivery in from Katie McCabe. It's a deep one and, well, marshalled and caught by Sabrina D'Angelo.
It's a nice high line from Aston Villa, which makes it difficult for them to get any kind of pressure on the goalkeeper there.
Caldente finds Mead, tries to poke it forward to Mornham, hooked away by Patton. Catley still feeling the after effects of that challenge. Looks like she's hurt her elbow.
Yeah, it does. It's also unusual for the referee to stop the game unless it's a head injury.
A couple of early stoppages then, disrupting the start of this match. And here is the challenge, which has left Steph Catley in a bit of discomfort. Renee Slagers spoke ahead of this game about consistency and how that is the key for her side. And that's how Chelsea have won the WSL the past 6 years in a row. They are so consistent. They just don't drop points. Arsenal need to replicate that if they are to challenge Chelsea this season.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's definitely something that they've spoken about and are motivated to win this league. Winning the Champions League will sit nicely on the shelf also. But they need, that's what the league, the WSL league is all about, the domestic league, being consistent, week in, week out, knowing how to win, even if it's not very nice. But it's funny that Renee Slagers does talk about consistency, which generally changes the team. And I think that was a problem last season, being quite honest, the turnover, the change of players. Trying to get that, build that consistency is difficult.
And we're back underway then. Katie McCabe fires it all the way back to Daphne van Domselaar, who herself had a bit of a shaky start to the season, made a mistake to give West Ham a goal. Arsenal turned that result around though, but hasn't had much to do really at all so far here against Aston Villa.
No, and I know it sounds really strange, but sometimes these mistakes can help your team, especially your defenders. They tend to want to protect you a little bit more if you're not having the best moment.
Really good defending there from Wilms. She's coming away with it. Cut out by the returning Catley.
Wilms is turning out to be a really nice signing for Villa. Just slotted in there, really good, strong defender with a bit of pace, which for me is really important in the modern game. You can't, there's no forgiving slow players anymore, not like in my day. I'm not saying my players were slow, just a few.
I thought you were saying you were slow, Emma.
No, 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 not me. I was lightning. Now I'm slow.
Five minutes into this second half then. Yet to get going with those two little injuries. Here is Wilms, summer signing from Wolfsburg. So she's played in the Champions League, good experience. And she's bringing a bit of robustness to that Villa defence. Something that they do need. Only relegated Crystal Palace conceded more goals last season than Aston Villa. McCabe, high press here from Villa. And reaps rewards. Byings shows too much to Beth Mead.
I think that's been the story of their game so far, really, isn't it? They do some things really well, and it's just those moments, again, talking about giving the ball away. Really have to capitalise when you win the ball back from a team like Arsenal, especially here at the Emirates.
Yellow card for Wilms, who we just praised. Bit of an obvious one, pulling back the shirt of Alessia Russo.
Yeah, Wilms, as we speak about experience, well, there it is right there. She knows well if Russo gets away there, Arsenal are very dangerous.
And here is Russo again, 2 options to pick out in the box. One of them's Olivia Smith, but it's Sabrina D'Angelo who claims it.
D'Angelo has done well, hasn't she, coming back in to the team. It's difficult for a goalkeeper, especially when Ellie Roebuck is there, and I think Roebuck's performed really well, and she's a top goalkeeper, just waiting to find that form again. But for D'Angelo to come back in, to get her starting place back, and then to perform well, it's difficult for a goalkeeper mentally to do that.
Kirsty Hansen on at half-time in a race with Katie Reid, and she's won that race. Ball across, finds Grant, and it's an inch or so wide of the post. Aston Villa create a really good chance, and Kirsty Hansen, the substitute, at the heart of that.
Yeah, and this is what she brings. She's very, very strong at running, and you know, we've seen Katie Reid. Katie Reid hasn't got beaten in a 1v1, especially in a foot race. That's the first time we've seen that pretty much this season. Kirsty Hansen really well, and Chastity Grant, it does get to her eventually, and so close to that far post.
Better from Aston Villa. One back by Russo. And her and Frida Mornham almost swapping in and out who's playing furthest forward. Russo jogging back up to the top position. As Caldente, this ball is cut out.
I think Arsenal have recognised that they can overload the midfield against Villa. Nearly through there. Chastity Grant a little bit frustrated with herself, but I think Arsenal have tried this since the start of the game, trying to overload the midfield. If it's the full-backs, if not, it's Russo dropping in to create that overload. We've even seen centre-halves going in there, and that's how fluid Arsenal are as a team, and really difficult for Villa. I think they've done considerably well, to be quite honest, considering they have players in there that wouldn't normally start for them. And speak about Lucia Kendall again, who I think has done a really good job.
Villa missing Moritz. She's suspended after getting sent off in the League Cup tie midweek. As Arsenal try and play it into the path of Russo, who won't be able to keep the ball alive. She's looked bright this afternoon, Russo. Hasn't scored, though, in her last 4 home games, her longest WSL drought. So we'll take a look at that Chastity Grant chance for Villa.
Yeah, it is a bit of a drought for Alessia Russo, isn't it? And as a forward, obviously, you are thinking about that. She did score a fantastic goal against West Ham, mind, so she's fine on the road. But obviously, it'll be in the forefront of her mind to score today. But I have to say, I think, you know, even speaking about the Euros, there was a lot of negativity around the fact that she hadn't scored, etc. But the work that Alessia Russo does for your team is incredible. And sometimes, you know, you can forgive that drought because defensively she's excellent. Her work rate is incredible. Her movement to create space for other players is second to none. So you have to think about all these things as well when judging.
And she scored the equaliser in the Euros final as well. So as goals go, that one was pretty special. Kirsty Hansen now up against Reid, running at the full-back, who gives away the corner. And Kirsty Hansen is looking good for Aston Villa since coming on. She's causing Arsenal a couple of problems down that left-hand side.
She is, and she's started the season quite well. I thought she was really good and really threatening against Chelsea. And I think it was a case, obviously, whether it was either Rachel Daly or Kirsty Hansen, and unfortunately for Hansen, Rachel Daly is very difficult to leave out of the team.
Aston Villa corner then. They've looked better in this second half, taken short. Salmon. Into Grant, who fouls Caldente, and that variation on the corner routine comes to nothing.
Well, I think Natalia Arroyo is turning around to the fourth official and asking for a foul there.
More equal in terms of the action areas in this second half then. Katie Reid.
Well, look at that. From the 19-year-old, just taking the ball on there, stepping in like an old pro.
She's one of the youngest players on the pitch, but she's one of the tallest. And that is a quality that pretty good if you're a centre-half. Van Domselaar trying to tempt Villa into the press. One back by Kendall. Into Maltby. A ball across, cut out by Katie Reid. A little bit flat so far from Arsenal in this second half. And they lead by that slender 1-0. Hansen now turns and shoots and always veering well off target.
It always looks closer, doesn't it, from this angle, but judging by Van Domselaar, it was nowhere near it. But again, it's just better. It's better forward play. It's more penetrating from Aston Villa. Again, it started from Lucia Kendall, just getting on that ball and driving. And of course, when you have this player, Kirsty Hansen, you've got target.
More changes then from Natalia Arroyo. Ebony Salmon is coming off, replaced by Georgia Mullett. 2 sub-appearances so far for her. Maltby also making way and returning to action for her first minutes of this WSL season is fullback Thomas.
Yeah, I think they'll be fairly straightforward swaps. Thomas can play left back, right back, and Georgia Mullett is an out-and-out 9. Again, another player I had at Southampton, really hard-working player. And she'll be a good hold-up also for Villa, trying to keep that ball.
Natalia Arroyo not wasting time in terms of making the changes. And Aston Villa fans will be pleased to see Thomas back. Last match she played was against Liverpool back in March. She had hip injury, had to have surgery on that. And that's given away by Van Domselaar. Here is the substitute Mullett. The ball across, cut out by McCabe, who concedes the corner. And Arsenal looking a little flat and perhaps a little complacent, Emma.
Well, these are the moments, and you know, it's very frustrating as a coach or manager looking on, and they've got full flow of the game, but then these little mistakes are the ones that really lift the opposition. And you know, any team playing against Arsenal will recognise that Van Domselaar is probably one of their weak points, so this is the moment for Villa to try and turn it round.
An hour played. Arsenal still leading by that Frida Mornham goal. Short to Thomas. Off Caldente and behind for another Aston Villa corner.
I would not be trying to short. I'll be asking them, just get it in the box. Get it into a good area. It is a 3v2 out there, but they're just not getting buy-ins on the ball there.
Oceane Delon to deliver. This time she does get it into the 18-yard box, and it's met by Patton, I believe, and off target, but again, improvements from Aston Villa in an attacking sense. And the stats show that as well. In this second half, Aston Villa have added a couple more shots.
It's definitely an improvement, isn't there? I do think that is somewhat down to Arsenal also coming out at half-time and not turning the screw as much in the first 45, but there will be moments like that in the game, and it's whether Aston Villa can take advantage of those moments, those key moments.
Aston Villa still looking for their first win of this campaign. Drew 0-0 with Brighton on the opening day. Lost 3-1 out to Chelsea last time in their game against Liverpool last weekend, postponed, so they've played a game fewer than everyone else. Well, one back by Catley. Can Arsenal get moving now? Russo. Foul as she tries to bring it away from her former teammate Patton. Taken quickly by Caldente. Mead. Russo busting a gut to get into the box. Back to Caldente. Hooks it up looking for Mornham. Punched well by D'Angelo. And the flag up for offside.
Oh, I thought that was a lovely ball across there, really well spotted. And they've done that a good few times, haven't they, Arsenal, today? They found that back post run. Obviously, a point of attack for them that they've been looking at. You know, you would, in general, when you're playing against that back three, can you switch it out? Can you find those weaker side areas?
Brought down well by Wilms. Fired forward looking for Mullet. Byings finds Cairns, former Liverpool midfielder, into Grant. And one back by Kim Little.
No, it's not a good ball from Grant. You can see there that Byings, she's just taken it on the wrong side. The pass is on the wrong side. It's helped Arsenal midfielder just come in there and win it back.
A couple of Arsenal changes then. Olivia Smith makes way. On comes Caitlin Ford. This is her 6th season at Arsenal. And goal scorer Mornham makes way. On comes Victoria Pelova. Just one start so far for her this season, struggling to get in that starting 11. She still makes her way back to full fitness after an ACL.
I mean, this is what Arsenal have. It's just incredible. This bench, the players that you can bring on. Renee Sleggers is so lucky to have that. And, you know, it is the perfect moment. And when Villa are finding their feet a little bit, just mentally, even to see these players coming on, it's a real heartbreak.
Beth Mead off the right now then, and Caitlin Ford off the left. There is Mead into the channel for Caldente. 2 red shirts to aim for in the penalty area. It's a cross. Finds Caitlin Ford, the substitute. Tries to lay it into Pelova's path. And Villa smuggle it away.
Just a little bit too soon for Ford. I mean, that was her first touch. But it's good to see.
And that's not great from Catley, giving the ball away to Mullet. Hansen's trying to get in the box. And there is Katie McCabe to just cut it out at the vital moment. Just as Arsenal have that chance, Villa showing their credentials on the counter.
Yeah, it's a good opportunity for Villa as well. It's just Georgia Mullet on the ball. Just that little bit more experience. She just doesn't pass that. She takes them on and waits for a better opportunity. But that's what Mullet gives you. She's a strong runner.
Referee content with having a word with Delon rather than giving her a yellow card for that rather late challenge. Fox into Russo. Katie Reed finds Victoria Pulova. Played 2 games for the Netherlands in the Euros. Didn't have a great Euros, but there weren't many Dutch players that did. Didn't make it out the group stages, of course, in the same group as England. As Katie Reed wins that back off Hansen brilliantly.
It's a good battle as well in there. You know, I really like Pulova as a player. She's very, very tidy and very versatile. She can play deeper in midfield. She can play a 10. She can play out wide. Still, I would say, as you mentioned, Flo, trying to find her full fitness but sharpness, and
all a bit dodgy from Arsenal at the back there, and nearly punished by Kirsty Hansen with that low drive.
And there's been a couple of those now, and it's these moments that you'd expect Villa to be energised and trying to get together and trying to put more pressure on them. But to be quite honest, they still look a little bit flat in that their body language and stuff and things like this. This is where they should be all getting together and really trying to mentally win a battle as well.
Another change then for Villa. Parker coming on for Delon. This is her first run out in the WSL this season. Unused sub in the first 2 games. Kearns wins it for Villa. Grant. Been much better from Aston Villa in this second half. Can they make Arsenal pay for their sloppiness?
Yeah, no, and I think for Villa, just winning those individual duels, it looks a lot better, particularly in that midfield. They've stopped them playing a little bit. They've blocked. I think the forwards have done a better job in terms of out of possession, stopping that central pass.
Good work from Byings. Back to Wilms. Good flick on from Thomas into Missy Kearns, but Katie Reed collects. And a little fortunate, perhaps, to get the free kick.
Yeah, and she does that so well, just steps across the player. I'll be interested to see that again, because initially I don't think it looked like a free kick. It looked like Villa won it back fair and square. But again, from their reactions, perhaps it was, because they didn't seem too put out.
"20 minutes remaining. Russo. Deep to get on the ball, finds Fox. Out to Mead. Slides it back into Emily Fox, who can't quite.
What a tackle. What an interception from, I believe it was Wilms. I'm going to give her the credit. It was excellent.
And that half chance has got the Arsenal crowd going. Caitlin Ford now, Katie McCabe's in space. She picks her out, but can quite sort her feet out. Caldente. McCabe stayed high. Ford up against Grant, and good defending from Chastity. Grant does concede the corner, though.
Yeah, it's good defending, it's good work from Grant. Grant, who's normally, you know, we speak about going forward, such a strong player, has had to defend a lot this game, but Arsenal do get the players. Look at that. 4 players in the box. Fox, I would say, deserves a goal. I think, again, she's been excellent, but it's an absolutely brilliant recovery tackle from Wilms, who's had a really good game.
Kim Little dinks it in. Good header from Patton to clear. Arsenal with a bit more energy now since those changes. As Kirsty Hansen tries to run it out. Beth Mead wins back. Fox. Up to Palova. Tries to lay it into the path of Catley, and behind this time for a throw-in.
It's hard work down Villa's right side, isn't it? And Arsenal trying to exploit those wide areas. And that's where you need your wing-backs to work hard, and that's exactly what Chastity Grant has done all game.
That didn't look like a good incident there for Byings. In fact, she's just did the universal symbol for substitute.
You know, she looks very uncomfortable.
And you looked alarmed straight away at that one, Emma.
I did, just because of her reaction. She's an experienced player, and she was calling straight away for the physio. It did look like just a coming together of the knees, but you just don't know anymore. It's such an area in women's football that we're so worried about, aren't we? And every time we see it, hold our breath.
She's a key cog in that midfield for Aston Villa as well. Started both WSL games so far this season for them. Ahead of today, and then also today, of course. Chance for Renee Slagers to give out a bit of tactical advice, and she's going to have to come off here, Byings.
I think she's just said that. She's just told the ref that I'll go off.
So that's a shame then for Aston Villa and for Byings.
Oh, she does look worried, and the more she walks off, the more upset she's getting.
On comes Miri Taylor then to replace her. Quarter of an hour remaining then. Arsenal still with the slender lead. And that a big blow there for Villa as Byings has to go off. Palova now on the edge of the box. Little helps it out to Fox. She finds Mead. Little spreads it back out to Fox. Caldente can't quite latch onto it, and Parker did just enough.
And with Monum coming off, it just allows Mariona Caldente to make those runs forward, which she's so good at. We've seen it already, her making those runs from midfield, that third player running. They've very nearly found her a couple of times now, but definitely a dangerous run from her that Villa are really struggling to track.
Thomas to take. Bit of an ironic cheer as Arsenal get the throw in that they thought they ought to have had in the first place. Back from Russo to Caldente. Fox can't get past her marker. And Villa clear as far as Caldente. Hansen trying to hold off Kim Little. As Katie Reid gives away the throw-in. Hansen has been good since coming on at half-time. Can she make the difference?
Yeah, she has. And she's just gives you a bit more mileage up there and just gets the game higher up the pitch. It's exactly what Villa needed. I'm going to talk about this player on the ball here, Lucia Kendall. I think who's done really, really well. She's definitely a player to watch for Villa, and it's difficult coming into that midfield, especially as a holding midfielder. There's such a lack of quality around. Not lack of quality, but there's such a high quality player. I think Kendall's done really, really well this game.
Since that Byings injury, Aston Villa look a little like the air's gone out of them. They started the second half well, but time's creeping away now. Still trailing by that single goal. As Caldente finds Ford in the channel. Up against Wilms. Gets it onto her right, and the ball across, cut out by Patton.
You can see Arroyo has changed it a little bit. She's put Chastity Grant in there in central, and I don't think that's the answer. And Georgia Muller's dropped right wing. Definitely not her position either. This is where Arsenal can definitely capitalise.
And they nearly capitalised there. Casey McCabe forcing a strong hand from Sabrina D'Angelo. We know how powerful Casey McCabe is at striking the football.
Yeah, she can score some goals. From a left back as well. She enjoys getting forward. Great asset in anyone's team to have that attacking fullback. And you speak about fullback. I still question whether she is or not.
Brilliant from Caldente. Back to Steph Catley. Her effort block. Kim Little keeps the ball alive. Arsenal in the ascendancy as they search for a second. Captain Kim Little again. McCabe's pass cut out by her former teammate Patton. Caldente. Spot the run of Ford, who's switched sides now with Beth Mead, so she's off the right. Here she is now, Australian international Caitlin Ford. 10 minutes remaining.
Oh, you said it, Flo. It looks like Villa have had the wind knocked out of them, and they're definitely not getting near the ball as they were in the first 25 minutes of this half. It probably is something to do with substitutes or injuries having to come off, but this is a key moment. The last 10 minutes, they can really go for it here. They can just get pressure on the ball. Can they keep the ball when they win it back?
Grant finds Kearns, brilliant touch from her, tries to feed it through to Kirsty Hansen, and it's smart from Daphne van Domselaar.
Too straight, too far from Missy Bowe-Kearns. Needs to go into the channel there.
And is Alessia Russo onside here? Yes, she is, still going, can't pick up Ford. Breaks though for Pelova. Her effort blocked. And Russo will start the second phase of this attack. The crowd's behind Arsenal here. Russo wins the throw-in.
They really are. And I think it really helps the team as well. It looked like they were getting a little bit flat, maybe a little bit too easy. She was onside. And then the crowd just lift again, and I do think it makes a difference.
a second goal and all 3 points secured, you'd think, at this late stage in the game. Cut out well by Kendall. Miri Taylor finds Missy Kearns. Her error, the difference in this game, as Kearns tried to play out from the back in the 10th minute. Gifted the ball back to Arsenal, and Caldente slid in Frida Mornham, who finished. And that goal, as things stand, is sending Arsenal top of the WSL table.
Well, the work rate is still there from Villa. That is certainly one thing. And speaking of work rate from that player, Missy Kearns, who we were just talking about, she's worked her socks off today. I think it's shown a little bit in these late stages. Can they give just 8 more minutes of hard work?
Really good defending from Wilms. Wins the free kick as well. Ford hauls her to the ground. Yellow card out as well for Caitlin Ford for that foul. You've been impressed with Wilms, Emma?
Yeah, I have. I think she's been excellent today for Villa. You know, it's not easy playing in that back three. You've got a lot of space as that right side of the three. You've got a lot of space to cover, and I think she's done it excellently. And on the ball also, she's been very, very good.
Fox nearly picking out pullover. D'Angelo fires it forward. Hansen can't quite keep it in. Arsenal with the throw. Not been the most convincing of games from a Arsenal perspective, Emma.
No, not this second half anyway. I think the first half they were very, very good and very much in control. And just a matter of time, really, before they scored another one. This one just looks like they've taken their foot off the pedal a little bit. We saw glimpses of that last season, which maybe they got caught out in. I wonder if they just need a little reminder of that.
Caldente. Ends up fouling Chastity Grant and gives Aston Villa the chance to get the ball in the penalty area late on here. Just found herself out of road, really.
Yeah, I think it was a clever play from Grant. I also think if Caitlin Ford's going to get a yellow card from the previous, surely that's one too. But it's a chance for Villa. I've spoke about moments in the game, I've spoke about set pieces, and when you're not going to have the ball for that much in a game, which Villa is never going to have that against Arsenal, it's these moments that you really do have to try and work and get something from.
In from Wilms. Alessia Russo it was with the headed clearance. Good speed from Grant to keep the ball alive. Back to Wilms. Delivers with her left foot. And Beth Mead leaves it for Katie McCabe, who fires long.
There's not enough players in the box there for Villa when that went back in, because there were 2 decent balls from Wilms. I just think they just need to get more bodies in and try and get across the Arsenal players.
Late change then for Arsenal. Chloe Kelly and Taylor Hines coming on. Kelly on for Beth Mead, 2 very popular players in the Arsenal team. European champions with Arsenal and England as well. Both played key roles in that, as Katie McCabe also makes way for summer signing Taylor Hines.
To be replaced by 24, Taylor Hines.
Straight swaps. You know, it's good to get players on the pitch. You never know when you're going to need them.
Arsenal will have plenty of games as well this season in the Champions League, of course, as they look to defend their title. And it's the expanded league phase, so there'll be more games.
More games, fewer international breaks. Balances out somewhere along the lines there.
Attendance announced a moment ago, 24,704 here in the Emirates.
Doesn't even surprise us anymore, does it?
Arsenal are definitely well ahead when it comes to crowd sizes in the WSL. Brilliant flick on there from Caldente. Fox now. Chloe Kelly keeping the width. Into the Lioness Kelly, back to Fox. Kelly with the delivery, flicked on by Rousseau, and Ford collects here on the left. Looks to run at Wilms. Cuts to the byline. Good goalkeeping in the end from D'Angelo.
Really, really good. I think Caitlin Ford just got away from Wilms there, who we haven't seen that much this game. And D'Angelo does really well to come out and block, make herself big.
Rousseau. Free kick goes against her.
I do think that, you know, looking back on the game, Villa might not be extremely happy walking away from this. They could have done better. And yeah, they could have done better. But I also think there's a lot of, you know, positives to take from this. The team itself, it's definitely a work in progress, but they've got a huge amount of ability in there. I think every time I look at them, something else impresses me. If they could just get all of those little bits and pieces together. Van Domselaar just making sure we're all awake there.
Into the final minute. Brilliant hold-up play from Ford. And then just harried off the ball by Kendall. Here is Ford again. Chloe Kelly making the run. Instead, it's Pullover. She goes for goal, and comfortable save for D'Angelo.
Yeah, just got the pace taken off it a little bit. Caitlin Ford does really well to find Pullover. Lovely touch in, and it's actually a little bit of a deflection that just took the pace off it slightly.
7 minutes of injury time then. Had quite a few injuries at the start of the second half. Jill Byings also down for a bit before she went off, so 7 minutes for Villa to try and nick something from this.
Well, they don't seem to be in any hurry. Still slowed it down a little bit. I'll be like, come on, get it going. Got 7 minutes. That just generally lifts you if you're 1-0 down and you hear that number.
In from Wilms. Breaks for Kirsty Hansen. Really good work from Chloe Kelly. Ball put back in the box. Arsenal clear, Pullover. It's now with Little. Forward by Fox. And Parker was always going to get there ahead of Pullover.
I think Parker's done well also. Coming off the bench, it's difficult coming into a game like this, and she seems steady and capable.
Villa have bodies forward here. Thomas hooks it in, headed on by Kearns. Too close to Van Domselaar, but Arsenal allowing Villa to have chances late in this game.
Absolutely. something that really they can't be comfortable with. Getting a ball in there, Missy Bowe-Kearns does well to get on the end of it. And as you said, too much, not enough direction in it to trouble Van Domselaar.
Kearns dispossessed, free kick goes the way of Aston Villa.
Well, it's getting a little bit exciting here these last 5 minutes. I'm not quite sure if that was a free kick, but we can have another look at this chance in here. Too easy for Van Domselaar.
Another change then from René Slagers, Caldente coming off, Ruben Moy coming on, so Arsenal banking up to see out the win.
Yeah, they're a little bit worried, obviously. Ruben Moy just coming back here to add another defensive number.
Only played 3 minutes so far in the 3 games in the WSL. On again late today. And Wilms goes for goal, and Van Domselaar had to be alert to tip that over.
Well, that was cheeky. That was very cheeky, and you can see Wilms just smiling there. You know, she'll know Van Domselaar quite well. I would not be happy about that if I were Van Domselaar.
Just one person in the wall, Chloe Kelly, didn't really do much. Allowed that side to be open for the effort. Not convincing from Arsenal. Delivery in from Wilms. Breaks and it's in! Aston Villa find the leveller late on. Lucy Parker with the final touch. And Arsenal have let all 3 points go at the end of this game. Arsenal 1, Aston Villa 1.
I actually can't believe that this has happened. I can't believe it. Although you could sense a little something. It's a great ball in. It's an excellent ball in from Wilms. And Arsenal just cannot clear their lines. And it's that player, Parker, we've just spoken about, who's done really well coming on. It's a poor goal to concede, though, you have to say, from an Arsenal that have defended really well of late. Pressure on.
And Arsenal now only have a couple of minutes to try and get back their lead. And we said this, Emma, in the second half. Arsenal didn't push on to see the game out, and look what situation they're in now.
Well, we spoke about Villa and moments in the game and not turning the screw, and, you know, it's the exact same for Arsenal. That first half, they were extremely dominant, and then came into the second half in what I consider a little bit complacent, and just allowed Villa moments in the game to come back in. But, you know, they've also taken off their most creative player in Mariona Caldente. They'll have to find another way.
Forward from Catley. Hines can't get that under control. Ruben Moy. The Arsenal crowd urging Arsenal forward. They're running out of time. That a real sucker punch. Fox into Kelly. Kelly can't beat Thomas. And Kearns fires it forward, anywhere will do.
Oh, I think the subs for Villa have done really, really well. And Thomas is included in that. Not easy to defend against. A, Beth Mead, and B, then Chloe Kelly. She's done really well. And Arsenal will be absolutely kicking themselves over this, and usually we do not see this at the Emirates Stadium.
Katie Reid. Seconds remaining now. Fox. Little. Steph Catley. Caitlin Ford. Stabs it into Fox. Kelly. Loads of red shirts in the box. She puts it in. Wilms is there. Cleared away. Kelly loses out. One back by Vuben Moy. Caitlin Ford now gets the shot off, and well saved by D'Angelo. And was that Arsenal's last chance?
I'm going to say yes. What a finish to this game. Incredible. That's what you want to see from Arsenal, just putting that pressure on, just moving that ball really quickly. The game still goes on.
Fired forward by Aston Villa. We're at the discretion of the referee now. We've played the 7 minutes.
Anna Patton has been excellent also for Villa.
And there is the full-time whistle. Then Arsenal miss out on the chance to go top of the table.